welcome back to our episode of Fun with Death and Taxes. Would you like to introduce yourself for the several hundredth time?
Yes, Ernie Martinez, Ernie the attorney, a trust and estates attorney.
So, as we do every week, we're going to break down a celebrity story. And usually we could talk about what we believe, in our humble opinions as estate planning lawyers, could have been done better in the estate. And every now and then we'll also find something that we are impressed with, and we'll also talk about that too. I don't think there's going to be much that we were impressed with Elvis Presley's estate plan, but we're going to go ahead and dive right in. So I will start by giving a little bit of background, although I guess I think most people would know more about Elvis than I do before I started doing the research for this podcast. So Elvis died at 42 years of age in 1977. He had actually earned over $1 billion in his lifetime, but died with only $5 million. So he clearly liked to spend money. He lived a lavish lifestyle, they say, and he was actually known for being very generous. And apparently he was like the first Oprah, because he was like, Cadillac for you and Cadillac for you, and everybody gets a Cadillac. Like, that was his thing to give away. Did you know that? I mean, was this in like some documentary or something? And I guess, as is known, he had drug and alcohol problems, he had addiction issues, and of course he had gone through a divorce. As we all know, divorces are not cheap. People don't usually come, out the other side better financially, so there was also that. He had been married to Priscilla. They were divorced by the time he passed away. And he had only one child, Lisa Marie. And she was 9 years old when he passed away. And of course, she has since passed away at the age of 54, but we'll get into that in the next episode. So the little bit of planning that was done here, Martinez, is literally a basic will. A basic will for someone of the net worth of Elvis Presley, which is kind of crazy. And the beneficiaries of that will was his grandmother, Minnie, his dad, Vernon, and his only daughter. And the trustee, or there was a testamentary trust in there, so it says everything to these people, but particularly to my daughter when she's 25. Everybody else was going to get something outright. And Vernon, his dad, was the only executor and trustee chosen. There was no successor, there was no backup. That was it. I mean, Vernon, some other fun facts: dad was old and sick. By the time Elvis passed away, was not the most sophisticated person. So this was not a person that was used to managing large sums of money or complicated legal issues, or certainly not the estate of someone with IP issues and stuff like that. And then dad died 2 years later. So dad barely had a chance to take over, it seems, before, he too passed away. And that pretty much breaks down the estate plan, if we even want to call it an estate plan, right? So the first thing, I guess, that immediately I realized, I was like, wow, this is not an estate plan to me. The documents are a byproduct of the relationship and the planning that has to happen to actually put together a decent strategy for an estate. It is not the estate plan itself, right? Everybody thinks, oh, I'm going to you to get a will, right? Right, Martinez? But there's so much that comes behind that will. So this basically seems like almost like a joke. Somebody told Elvis he has to do something, God knows, and they put together a basic will. And it really is quite basic, everything to my mom, my grandmother, and my daughter when she's 25. And 25 outright. At 25. So do you see a lot of that? Do you see a lot of people coming in and they should do a whole lot more than what they're initially, they're like, no, I just want something simple. Algo simple.
Just like you, I get to learn the life of my clients, and then something you don't learn in the first 5 or 10 minutes. Because everybody says I have a simple life, I have no problems in the world, and all my children get along. And normally people want to pick their siblings or their parents and their uncle, and a lot of times they predecease or they don't last that long. And bless their heart, they'll be like 90. And I was like, well, this is not a good idea to have them. And but probably one of the most difficult questions I ask is, who do you trust?
Right. Right. I tell people your choice of who's going to be executor or trustee is probably the most important choice you're going to make, right? If this is abuelita who has a flip phone, this may not work out well. She shouldn't be the first up for trustee, like.
Yeah,
there was no backup either. Like, I mean, maybe there's just a lack of people, around him that he trusted enough to do this, or maybe the family's just so small, but.
And none of them ended up in this, so even though they're the friends, they're not the people that you want running your trust.
Right.
They're the people that you drink and allegedly other things with. They're not the responsible person that you want. And
yeah.
And so that it's something that people do not focus on, that who is your executor, your PR, who's going to be your trustee, who do you entrust with your money, your gold, your children, supporting your children. That's very important. And obviously Grandpa, a lovely person. And
I mean, Grandpa, Lisa was only 9 years old when her dad died, so we were being very idealistic when we thought, he's got to last quite a few years to make it so that Lisa's 25 and then there's an outright distribution. There wasn't even a successor named in this, And I know you know something about this estate and about Elvis. You seemed like quite a character here. And I guess Vernon might have thought, hey, this is the manager during life, right? Elvis trusted him. Entered the U.S. illegally. Never fixed that status, so continued to be an illegal immigrant in the United States. Somehow got himself into the Army, and he was never a colonel. He was a private, which I thought is hilarious, because I guess if you tell everybody to call you Colonel Parker, well, fuck it, I guess you're Colonel Parker, right? He literally went AWOL, had
Private
a mental
Parker
breakdown.
didn't sound as good.
Private Parker, yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound as much gravitas there, right? And so he was discharged from the Army. On his paperwork, it says that he had a psychotic breakdown, which is why he needed to be discharged. And quite a bit was written about this guy. But as we say, de bobo no tenía ni un pelo, because he was charging Elvis 50% on all of these deals that he was doing, which initially I kind of was like, well, what is the standard? I really don't know. But as we're going to find out, a judge in Tennessee also found it a little bit unconscionable that he was charging 50%. But so do you know anything else about this guy that I missed that I find, because I find this whole thing to be a little ridiculous. But we could break down the biggest transaction. So it was reported that in 1973, the worst deal Parker entered into on behalf of Elvis was that he sold to RCA. So man, for Dad to also start relying on this guy on how to manage this estate post-death does seem a little crazy. Does seem not the smartest thing to do. But
yes, well, it says a lot that the judge, looked at it.
Isn't
back
that
at the time
wild?
that there were a lot of these contracts around that were terrible.
And I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, and it's not that we don't have great judges here in South Florida, but I also feel like, because what's going to happen and what we're going to discuss is, now let's say Dad dies and Priscilla takes over, right? Priscilla and actually the family's CPA, Mr. Hanks, takes over. And it seems like these two pretty much know what they're doing, and they file some routine yearly thing in the court, and this judge decides to start looking at stuff and start looking at the contracts and goes, whoa, what the fuck is happening here? Which I find to be kind of like, wow, good job, Judge. And I immediately started thinking, this must be because of where they were, right? I mean, Memphis is known. Nobody was fighting yet. Like, Priscilla had just taken over, and Priscilla was not trying to go after this guy yet or anything like that. It seems like in a very routine yearly filing, the judge decided, whoa, what's happening here? And appointed what seems to be the equivalent of curator or special master or special whatever, which I know you've also done before, right? So the judge said, hold on. So interestingly, because I know you've done this kind of work, which is super cool when you kind of take over and you, and because Martinez is also a CPA and an accountant, it's kind of a perfect background to kind of dig. And Mr. Toole ended up writing a 300-page report that he broke down and had a lot of very serious opinions and said, and I quote, that Mr. Parker violated his duty to both Elvis and the estate by charging commissions that were excessive, imprudent, and beyond all reasonable bounds of industry standards. He also said that he didn't think he, was doing the best deals in general and did not organize Presley's finances during life or minimize his taxes, and was absolutely not to be trusted now doing anything for the estate.
How many millions did Elvis have?
Only 5.
5.
Only 5.
No, I put
especially
the math.
at this time, because Priscilla hasn't really done her magic with her team yet. So at this point, we're broke. I mean, at this point, the estate is kind of broke. There's this judge was not having it, appointed his good friend, Mr. Toole, and Mr. Toole said, this is all trash. We need to manage this estate better. So they removed this guy. He's no longer involved in the estate.
Colonel Parker.
And Mr. Parker has now since left the building. I'm not sure if he's still alive. It doesn't sound like there was really any criminal repercussions or anything like that. But Mr. Parker has been removed for essentially self-dealing, right? Which you are not allowed to do. And this goes back to, who do you choose to actually manage your estate? Probably not a good idea if the guy managing your estate also has a conflict of interest because he's making 50% commissions off of stuff. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Everything on this podcast is our opinion. Everybody, remember this. Remember this. There's a disclaimer here.
Yeah, well, part of the movie, and obviously there's multiple, if not many, series and movies, but so that Elvis was performing, and Colonel Parker was his manager, so and he was taking probably more than 50% of
oh, I'm sure at the end of the day.
So he's performing in Vegas. Yeah, it is true that.
And RCA is unavailable for comment. Okay, yeah. So we reached out. We reached out to RCA Music. They did not want to speak to us, but it is also reported that they did cough up in all of this investigation an extra $1.1 million or so of the royalties for the music that was recorded after that 1973 deal. So Elvis did get fucked that it is what it is. There was an extra $1 million kind of hanging out that RCA did have to cough up for the post-73 songs.
Yeah, recently it's in the news that major bands have been selling their catalogs. So,
yes.
Bob Dylan,
sure.
a few others. Obviously the Beatles songs have been traded and a lot. So right now the value of those catalogs are huge, billions of dollars that these catalogs are being sold for. Can you imagine what the Elvis classic songs that you hear every day is worth? Commercials
and movies and all sorts of stuff that then you realize, oh, that's where that song comes from. And it was super interesting because and I remember you saying this, I think on a previous podcast when we were kind of, going off in our ADD moments, that Priscilla really, when she takes over, her and a group of professionals that she hired and called it kind of like this board, this management team. It's like the turnaround team here. Hence, that's not really, it took her 2 years to come to terms with that fact, but they had to kind of bite the bullet and make it the primary income generating thing in the estate, which predicated on itself. Mm-hmm. Because as soon as that thing opened to the public and it re-sparks interest in Elvis, right? Now you're talking about all other kind of royalties that you can get from whatever it is. Bobbleheads and T-shirts and whatever, right? Like costume, Halloween costumes and mugs and all sorts of things, right? So it really kind of built on itself. It's really kind of interesting.
I guess you're mentioning it was, she hesitated to approve all this, but it's also brilliant. She took this broken down house, requiring a lot of maintenance, into this pilgrimage site where people came. And,
Yes.
And now, world famous.
It was. I found it somewhere that she did about 500 and I think 30 something $1,000 of renovations to do this, to open it, and they made it back in 38 days.
Wow.
They made the money back. That's how popular this became immediately.
Yeah. She, as you mentioned, really, brilliantly went to manage this estate, to take the catalog, the house, whatever she could get, with a small child, and people forget that she's the ex-wife of Elvis.
Right.
And takes it. How many broke musicians are there that were famous, and took that and made it grow and preserve it and nurture it so that we have that.
And I mean, it's super interesting too. And I really kind of geeked out on this, going back through. There was a lot of like old newspapers that have been, republished on the internet, and they were talking about how like she basically got herself kind of a board of directors here. Her, the CPA that apparently didn't make it to the feature film, didn't make it to the feature film, a banker that they trusted very much, and they put together a bunch of other advisors. And then they would meet somewhere between 6 and 10 times a year in LA. They would meet in a hotel formally. By the time Lisa Marie was 21, she would join in the sessions. Actually, they were trying to like even build some succession there of like management. And there's all of these quotes of all of these different lawyers and professionals talking about how, people used to speculate that she was just a figurehead and that she wasn't actually very important in these meetings or whatever. And the people that they interviewed for this article were like, that is absolutely not true. Like this woman had, and I quote, they talked about a better head on her shoulders than some Harvard MBAs, and that they would go into business with her for other ventures. She married Elvis when she was quite young. I remember you said she was like 17. She paired herself up with Elvis, and he clearly didn't have too many street smarts financially. So she did, which is really interesting.
Well, pharmaceuticals may have had an impact.
They might allegedly they may have had an impact. He's the creative Martinez. He's the creative in this relationship. Like he's more right-brained.
I agree that she was able to create this empire out of necessity, and Elvis died very young.
Oh my God! Like how Elvis died at 42. That's wild.
Yeah, and you don't have when you think about it, this creative. Not joking, but he had so many more years to kind of produce more music. I mentioned the Beatles. You have Paul McCartney, and in some cases, it seems like a lot of money, millions of dollars, to make it last a lifetime. You really have to budget, and especially if they stop producing music and residuals, and they sign bad deals. And a lot of times what happens is, that they have no money in their old age. So it's a good thing to and it's current now. I mean, there's a whole movie now about NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys and Perlman, and they also sign about, I guess you'll sign anything when you're trying to make it.
I was going to say, I guess when you're young and you want your shot, right?
Right.
I guess somebody's going to give you that shot.
Then you're like world famous, and there's millions, if not billions of dollars, and say, where's my money?
Where's my money?
Where's my money? And
in my pocket.
and these agreements, like movie deals, you have to pay the expenses first. The Cadillacs, whatever it was, come first. Unfortunately, we've dealt with people with addictions. They don't make good decisions.
Yes, they tend not to.
They don't tend to make good. They
tend not to.
And they're a small group that they trust. Also, sometimes, although they're bad people.
Yeah, it seems like a recurring theme, definitely, in all of these estates that we're going to break down, right? Like, you think, oh my God, these are celebrities. They have access and they have the funds to have the best lawyers and financial advisors and whatever on the planet. But I guess they just don't know who to trust, right? And so they fall victim to the Colonel Parkers of the world, allegedly. Don't come at me, Mr. Parker.
Private Parker, yeah.
Private Parker. Wow, Priscilla they say grew this to about $100 million by the time Lisa Marie took over. And we'll be talking about, the Lisa Marie estate in another podcast. But that is huge. I mean, by 1993, when Lisa Marie was supposed to take over at the age of 25, the estate was worth over $100 million, which we'll talk about the tax issues surrounding that soon enough. But I guess for sure, if lesson number one was actually do some estate planning, because your bullshit will, that is the most basic thing ever, is not really an estate plan. Lesson number two is be careful who you put as trustee, because if it's going to be dad that relies, who's old and sick and whatever, and relies on Colonel Parker versus Priscilla, you can see the difference, right? You can see the difference between those two things and how they were being handled.
Probably didn't understand what was going on. Probably Colonel Parker could have made him sign anything, really.
Sure.
I don't know Vernon. But
we don't
know Vernon,
I mean, Vernon wasn't around long enough to even realize that he's getting duped, Yes. Vernon, and truth be told, if Vernon might have thought, this was my son's manager his whole life, and if he was good with it, why would I know any different, I guess, right? Like, he didn't know he was being robbed.
Right. He didn't... second movie, the Forensic Accountant movie.
The one about the CPA, the Forensic Accountants.
Forget about the music.
That one's going to die on the vine. I don't think that movie's getting funded. That movie's not. The movie's not going to get funded. But this is one of those estates that almost, Priscilla kind of created her own independent professional board, right? She wasn't an independent professional trustee, but she realized the need for it and kind of created that for the estate and herself. So,
yeah. By all accounts, she had a good head on her shoulders.
Yes.
If not brilliant, she really took, although $1 million was nothing to but she made it big and a great woman story too. Everybody thought she was a pretty face.
Yeah.
And got this to
by all accounts, she was a
was
lot more than a pretty face.
And to surround yourself
did a great
with
job.
People that are responsible and
for us minions, so for all of you out there that are not, at the level even 5 million, let's say like Elvis Presley, we could definitely say that lesson here is be careful who you choose as trustee, and certainly choose a successor, right? Because in this case, Vernon died and there was no successor trustee even chosen in the will, which I also find a little crazy. But, again, sounds like even worse than LegalZoom is what this sounds like, I guess. So that is definitely lesson number 2 in this podcast.
Yeah, you definitely need, like my business owners understand, you need your first VP, your second VP.
That's right.
Your third VP.
Who's taking over this circus?
And who do you trust? And just because you like them, they may not be the person that responsible for your money. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I always find it's always glamorous to say millions of dollars, but if it's your $100,000 legacy,
it's even more important, so to speak. If all you got is $100,000 to leave behind, spending it, $20,000 on some administration that didn't need to happen, probably not the best use of 20% of your estate. Yes.
And also although you always think, like you said before, you can afford everything, good advisors, bankers, all that, and then but if you have a smaller estate, you don't have all these advisors. So amazingly enough, people that I think should have all this great advice, they may not even have an estate plan, and they have, and they could have hired anyone to do it.
Right.
Not necessarily us, hopefully us, but they could have had, you figure they have 100 advisors surrounding them like an army, and they don't.
You would think.
No?
You would think.
That's right. They'd have this, what was it, 300-page report?
300-page report. What do you, Attorney Toole over here went hard. He went hard in the paint, know? I'm sure that report
movie
cost
hasn't
a lot
come
of money.
out. Him drafting
the 300-page report about
these little nuggets. I feel they should be in the serial. They should add the accountant and
curator,
and the
special
curator.
master Toole.
They don't get enough appreciation.
They really don't. It's not so sexy. That
not so sexy.
That role is not so sexy.
The movie, the jet setting did not include them.
No, the women, the drugs, all of that did not include the accountant.
I don't know why that gets
The accountant.
front page attention. I believe the true story is the accountant.
Yes. Yes.
I'm a biased person, also CPA.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're a little biased.
I defend the accountants.
I think you're a little biased.
I'm very excited about that, yeah.
But certainly, I mean, if all we see here is a will that seems very haphazardly kind of thought through and just thrown together, there was absolutely no estate tax planning happening in this estate, right? So we're probably going to hit on this for every single celebrity estate. We certainly hit on it in Robin Williams. But again, would you like to break down for our viewing audience this concept of there is a federal estate tax? I am not sure if there's a Tennessee estate tax. Not sure. We are not Tennessee lawyers. But there's certainly a federal estate tax. And so break down just some very basics, like you're talking to a 5-year-old, Martinez, because this can get complicated quick, right? So
yeah, right now, well, a lot of clients or prospective clients come in because they read on the internet or some very very verifiable information, I'm sure, that the government's going to take 30-40% of their money and,
sure.
and whatever they say, 50% sometimes it's going to the government.
Fuck it. Yeah. It's all going.
Estate tax, so-called death tax, is based on what you have. You know, I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but what you die with, not income tax is what you earn, but what you die with. And so a lot of clients that come in with even a measly $5 million.
Measly. Chump change.
You know,
that'll get you one parking space and a house at Coral Gables. Yeah,
yes,
That's it.
Well, it's all relative. And right now it's 13.6 and change. So let's round up to like 14 million or so. And so that's a coupon. I call it the coupon,
the
right?
Coupon. That's right. The IRS is so generous.
It's so
they
generous.
give us, all of us.
Or you've been taxed
all
once already.
All U.S. persons.
Yeah.
All us, if you're a foreigner, you're not so
remember,
generous.
you've been taxed on the income first.
Well, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about just, something different.
Unless you just inherit it. But then you have estate tax, so-called death tax or inheritance tax, which may be different. But in Florida, we're fortunate we have no estate tax.
We do not.
No income tax either.
Right.
That's why people move to Florida.
I mean, stop advertising these things, Martinez.
Yeah,
we're full.
Florida.
We're full. Stop moving to Florida, please.
And so a lot of times my client, and I joked around, but they're concerned about this topic, and it could come back. I always say, when I went to school for accounting, it was $500,000.
Wow.
It went to $600,000. Then, without getting into politics, the Bush years came, and
that's right.
And it grew and it grew. Then Obama came, and they claimed it was going to $3 million and went to $5 million and whatever. And then the government, in the wisdom now, decided that 13+ million, adjusted for inflation,
every year
would. So your person in Coral Gables, that's a fancy part of Miami where we are, and their house, let's say it's $2 million, their assets are $2 million. And their house in the Keys, they're still at $6 million.
They'll be okay.
They'll be okay.
They'll be okay.
There's no foundations for them.
So they don't need to worry that Colonel Parker, who now works for the IRS, is coming for them.
Right.
Okay.
However, for those who have $20 million, and everybody thinks of the Grey Poupon people, the inherit. No, a lot of business owners, real estate owners.
I was going to say, if you bought any kind of real estate here 20 years ago, if you bought I have a client that, God bless them, not the most sophisticated people, but they bought a bunch of warehouses by the river.
Yes.
That are worth $1 gazillion right now. I'm like, who wants these warehouses? Like, are these, I guess, I always think to nefarious, but somebody's offering them a lot of money for these warehouses. And I'm like, what's going on?
Well, probably they're building a condominium.
Possibly.
All these fancy restaurants by the river.
Yeah. If you bought Tesla stock or something, early on, if you bought Amazon, if you bought Facebook, if you bought...
Junkie warehouse in a little place called Wynwood.
The ghetto? The ghetto that is now where the hipsters live.
Now the hipsters.
Have,
and the condominiums and the river used to be,
Martinez has a great land development plan. Can I tell the world, Martinez? He says you need to buy up plots of land in the ghetto and put a dog park and a coffee shop. And it'll just turn from ghetto to like hipster land.
Well, Well, I would describe the
He's
ghetto.
like-
I would say
He's like, I would not
disadvantaged
say it that
neighborhood.
way. On what? Disadvantage?
Disadvantaged neighborhood.
Oh, okay, cute.
And then with the
Dog park?
Winwood, dog park,
and coffee shop.
a coffee shop,
And what
where
else?
they grind their own coffee.
Where they grind their own coffee. With maybe a
and it has to be
bookstore.
organic.
Maybe a hipster bookstore.
Yeah, it has to be organic.
Organic coffee.
Organic coffee.
Ah,
where they
$10 a
grind
cup.
it.
Okay.
It sounds like where I live, but
Yeah,
hey,
I'm like, that's exactly
any
where he
resemblance
lives.
to
That's
where I
exactly
live.
where he lives.
And they grind their own coffee. It's organic and it's free trade.
And Floofy has a dog park
Yes.
with like little
oh yeah, they
sidewalks.
spent millions on the dog park.
I mean, all you need is a little bit of,
They
land
spent millions
development.
on the dog park
And
for
now-
small dogs and big dogs.
Yes.
They don't discriminate.
They do not. They do not.
And very architecturally relevant dog
and
statue.
now your cheap, whatever condo is now worth $1 million.
Yes. They.
So wait, back to the estate tax, because what we were saying is, if you're under the coupon amount,
Yes.
right, you're kind of free and clear. It's kind of like, no,
Yeah, and
don't look at me, IRS.
And what happens if you get married?
Oh,
You get a double coupon.
Oh, there are benefits to
For
being
those on
married.
Match.com.
For those of you on Match.com, I think
They get-
Match.com is out of. I think
No?
that I don't know. There's new
I
ones
think
now.
we like coupon.com.
Coupon.
Estate-tax-coupon.com. For those
For
looking
singles.
for someone who has not
For
used their
rich
exemption.
singles.
They have not used their also
Come on, there's
an
tremendous
addendum
market
to
for that.
is that they've already used their exemption, they used their coupon, they're no good. You want someone pure.
So if you have over $14 million, you could pay Martinez or I a lot of money to do some planning, or you could just get married.
Yes.
It's
There are advantages.
There are advantages.
The love of marriage. And there are a few tax advantages for those that.
I see.
So then those have a mere 20 million.
Wow.
Right, a mere 20.
But the
million.
idea is, if you're above this magic number, and the number changes all the time, as Martinez has broken
Yes.
down. When he was a young spring chicken,
Yes.
It was
As
only
a 5-year-old,
500,000.
it was
As a 5-year-old, as an accountant 5-year-old prodigy.
Yes, I
it
took a
was
deep interest in accounting at a young age.
Deep. Well, your dad was an accountant
Yes,
too.
actually, for real, yes.
Of course,
yeah.
yes, I know. So, but if you're below that number, you're clear. If you're above that number, now we got problems.
Yes.
Right? Because the tax is usually pretty high. Now it's 40%, right? But it has been as high as 55% when you were 5 years old, I believe.
Yes.
It has, gone
Yeah,
up
so
and down.
think of it. For every million, you're paying 400,000.
I mean, yes.
So that's a stiff.
I mean, this is exactly what I tell clients when they come in, and sometimes clients are not coming here for tax planning, but they do have over a certain amount of money. And that type of planning is not cheap. I mean, it is not.
Or you can use the Colonel Parker Simple Will.
I mean, oh God, no.
No?
Oh God, that's not going to work.
no,
That's
it's
not
not
going to
gonna
work.
work,
It
no.
didn't work for Elvis. We're going to
It
break
didn't work
that
for
down right
Elvis.
now.
No.
But it is expensive planning. That is not something that usually can be done on any kind of flat fee. Our hourly rates are pretty damn high for this kind of planning. Good luck finding someone to do it for less. I joke, you could hire me or you can hire my old boss and pay him double at Big Law, So you're absolutely going to pay a pretty penny. But when you look at the consequences of not planning, I mean, just $1 million
and who's
over.
gonna do it at Big Law? The associate they hired last year.
And they're still being billed the associate at
The
$1,000
associate
an hour.
that he's
All right,
reading up-
they were
he
making
got the
coffee
estate planning
yesterday,
book, yeah.
but today they're $1,000 an hour. Okay,
They got the estate planning book yesterday.
Absolutely.
And they're good readers. They learned in
They learn fast. They learn
learn
fast. They
fast.
have to.
And then
So it's expensive, but I mean, what is the consequences of not doing this plan? 40% off the additional $1 million or whatever it is, right?
and, yes, and going back to your warehouse example,
Yeah.
joking aside, let's say you invested wisely 30
Yes.
years ago. And it's not cash. When we go to the conferences, it's
Right?
always a well-diversified portfolio.
Sure.
And most of my clients are not in a world
Well
diversified. They made their money a lot with real estate.
Sure.
Yeah, we better buy the worst warehouse now for our future, right? Well, not.
But where do we buy it?
We don't know.
We can't, it can't be here in Miami because,
Yeah.
we
So-
got to buy it in Tallahassee or some shit. I don't know.
So but seriously, that in that case, you need estate tax planning. Who pays the most taxes, right? The people that don't plan, and a lot of people say, "Oh, when I die, my children will handle it." But,
Sure.
And they may
They
have
will.
to,
They will have to.
and they may, whether they want to or not, have to sell that warehouse.
Yes. One of the biggest issues with the estate is absolutely liquidity. You need to have 9 months later, when that tax return is filed and you owe X, right? Let's say a mere $1 million, let's say $400,000. Does everybody around here afford the $100,000 to just like, write a check? Like,
No.
it's not easy.
Liquid.
It's not easy liquid to write a check.
From your experience, how many people are very liquid in
They're-
Miami?
No. Liquidity is
They drive Lamborghinis that don't have 200,000, right?
They gotta sell the Rolls Royce.
Oh, the Rolls Royce.
They gotta sell the Rolls Royce.
That's
okay?
not enough. That's not enough.
No, it's really not.
No.
You gotta sell the Lamborghini, a Rolls Royce, the yacht.
The yacht,
and
the
maybe
house.
Joe Robbie Stadium, which is a topic for another day.
Yeah, it's another topic.
It's
but
definitely-
yes, so the main, also it's a problem that if the main asset is your income producing property,
Yes.
the golden egg, your warehouse,
You don't want to sell the golden
don't-
egg.
Yeah, you may have to get a job.
You may have to get a job. God forbid.
That is so mean.
No, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that.
Yeah, so then and so now you have your shopping center that pays the whole family. Now you have to sell it, pay taxes. You lost 40% of what you owned.
That's
You're
right.
left a
We're not
mere
even talking about the
60%.
income taxes here,
Yeah.
people. We're talking about paying off the estate tax. And in the Elvis estate, so remember, we only died with $5 million, right? But the IRS is not stupid. The IRS goes, and we'll talk about this definitely in the Michael Jackson, probably 4-part drama of that whole estate and what happened to it. But the IRS goes, wait a minute, let's develop a present number for the future value, right? Like they do all of this fancy calculation and they go, I get cute. It was only $5 million, but we believe there's a lot of potential here. And they actually assessed it and appraised it at 22.5. And so that was almost a $10 million tax that they assessed against the estate, which was brutal. Aside from all the other creditors, because actually there's quite a lot of creditors that were coming after, Elvis was not the most...
Rockstar living is not cheap.
Rockstar living is not cheap. You end up owing a lot of money to a lot of people for different reasons, allegedly different legal and non-legal reasons, but that is not a topic of fun with death and taxes. But the IRS was definitely at a $10 million invoice that they slid the estate. That was the biggest.
But they only had a mere 2 or 3 million left.
Yeah, I mean,
After
they had
the accountant, the
accountant
and the
poor
magistrate.
Priscilla and the accountant, they had to get working quickly. Penalties are accruing.
The math did not
interest
add
is
up.
accruing.
20 million, a few million did not add up.
The kids these days say the math is not mathing. I've now hired staff that are so young, I don't know what the fuck they're saying half the time. So the math is not mathing. I learned what that means the other day.
Is this like paper towel math? Like 4
I don't know.
equals 12?
It was just like, this plus this does not equal $10 million.
Yeah.
Where do we get $10 million? Poor Priscilla. Can you imagine like the sleepless nights that the accountant, Mr. Hanks,
Yeah,
and Priscilla had? If you're out there, we
and
would
Elvis
love...
is no longer singing. And what are you going to do?
No.
He stopped singing.
And RCA isn't here for charitable purposes, right? They're the ones making all the money from the royalties of, name a famous Elvis song. I don't know. Groundhog? Not Groundhog. Something about hog? No? Name a hog song for Elvis. This is way before my time. Come on out. What is it? There was I don't know, a hog song? No?
Hog.
Bulldog? No? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know anything about Elvis music, guys.
Oh,
Clearly.
yeah.
This is before my time for real.
Let's throw out Love Me Tender out
Love Me Tender. So RCA is definitely making all the money off of that. And
Blue
the
Suede
estate,
Shoes,
the estate is not. So they really had to get in gear to make sure that, and this is, I think, one of the things certainly that Priscilla mentions in that article with the LA Times saying, I really didn't want to turn Lisa Marie's childhood home and their house and Graceland and whatever
Blue Hawaii.
into, I don't know any of these songs. But they didn't want to do that, but Le Doga, because there was absolutely no estate tax.
Actually, he did
planning
sing one of his famous, In the Ghetto is one of his famous songs.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I've never even heard that.
It's a great song, social justice song. He did.
Oh, political activist was
like
Elvis.
60s. Not Blue Suede Shoes, Elvis, but more of the 60s.
There were different
yeah.
kind of renditions of...
Yeah, he came back.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, remember, we sold everything to RCA, so he should have produced a lot more.
He had to produce more. And just like Taylor Swift had to re-sing her songs. And
Yes.
So
I
now
heard
when you
about
buy
this.
the later albums with the updated voice.
Yeah, screw that guy. Whoever is the one
so
that owns
her,
the earlier
Swiftie
albums.
fans, they call them.
Swiftie
They buy the
fans.
new albums, not the old albums, so she gets more money.
Interesting.
Because she needs more money.
I mean, those contracts are very interesting from an IP perspective of why you can do that or how that works. I really don't know, but
Yeah, if you own your songs, the lyrics.
yeah.
Then-
Oh, that's right, because she's a songwriter.
Yeah, you
I mean,
get
we're
most
getting a
of the
little
money.
off topic here.
Yeah.
But,
we'll end it
but
here.
she's not
but
dead yet. She's not dead
she's
yet.
still.
We'll have a great.
But
she's
she
quite
should
young.
She'll listen to our podcast.
She needs to listen to our podcast and do estate tax planning, babe.
Yes.
Okay, like that's what
Yeah.
you need to do for sure. Okay?
But the rights are essentially based on your writing of the songs a lot of times.
Oh,
So
not
you-
so
you-
much just the recording.
The recordings, you can always
So there's different
re-sing,
rights for the lyrics, different
or you're
rights for
performing
the,
in concert. That's why a lot of these old rock stars have to go out there
and hustle
sing,
for their money, baby.
and sing because they're not getting a lot of royalties from the
Hustle
back.
for their money, yeah.
You know, but you don't want to. You want
Interesting.
So you want that to be
Interesting.
so the Beatles wrote their songs
Uh-huh.
in addition to singing their songs, and you heard of the Beatles, haven't you?
Yes. My dad liked them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. That's
Oh, that was a jab,
Yeah.
Martinez. That was a jab. But, aside from the estate tax issues, which, okay, anybody that has over a certain level of wealth, seriously, you need to talk to an estate planning attorney, especially in the next 18 months or so. The laws are going to change. But there's
and
always
it may go down.
It may go, well, yes, it may go down. I mean,
To a mere,
I don't know. Depending on who becomes president, this will be a new shit show that we'll be dealing with next year, potentially, right? I mean, I always used to joke, if Bernie Sanders becomes president, he's been very honest and very consistent about, you got $1 million, and after that, I'm going to tax the shit out of you, right? So it really is a
which
political...
is old law. He's going back.
He remembers the good old days. The throwback
Thursday.
Throwbacks, Bernie, call us. We can have you on the podcast.
Yeah,
right?
I used to give that example. $1 million.
Yeah.
$1 million, and then $1 million credit shelters.
Right.
The same coupon, but now the coupon is 13.
I mean,
plus.
now it's right.
Yeah,
now it's
which
Trump's
is
coupon. Now
13,
it's Trump's tax
13,
reform
14
coupon.
times that.
Yeah.
And
And you could get married and double it. You can
yeah,
find love.
It's hard to scrape by with 13 million.
It really is. You can find good love, I think, with more than 15 million bucks.
What are you insinuating?
I don't know. I'm just saying. It seems like that's the case.
Yeah. Your selection process.
Your selection process becomes so much easier. You just I don't know because you're a nice guy. Buena gente. That's what
It's
you
all
care about.
personality.
It's all personality, clearly.
As
But
I've heard, it's all personality.
sure. And so there's always, certainly if you're at a certain level of wealth, there's a great tax reason, and hopefully you have decent advisors, CPA, financial advisor, whoever it is, other attorney, that tells you, hey, go see an estate planning lawyer. But there's certainly non-tax reasons to do estate planning, right? And even in this case, I mean, setting up some simple will with a testamentary trust for your only child, in this case, Lisa, right? Lisa Marie. And saying, I think 25 is good enough. I mean, however that number, which flows around in our world a lot, right? 25, 30, whatever it is. And she'll be fine by then, that is crazy to me. As someone that now I've been doing this, not 35 years just yet, because I'm not a prodigy like you, Martinez. I'm not a prodigy. So I've only been a lawyer for 15 years, and some of my own clients have started to die, which is a weird thing for me, actually, because I was always a planning lawyer, I was not a probate lawyer. So, but some of my own clients have passed away, and we do administration.
You did not cause it, right?
No, I didn't. No, I am not the cause.
These rumors
are not true. I did not marry them and kill them. No, I did not. I'm not the Black Willow of estate planning. Like, what? And so now you see when 20-something-year-olds know that they're going to inherit, So Martinez, here's the real question. If you knew you were going to get plus or minus $100 million when you turned 25, would you have been as diligent as you were and studied accounting? Because I would not, honestly, Martinez. I'm a very, I'm a workaholic. I'm a very diligent person. I'm a very disciplined person. But I believe if I was going to inherit $100 million when I was 25, I wouldn't have gone to fucking engineering school. I promise you that would not have been at the top of my list. I wouldn't have had the passion for math and science the way I somehow did have if I had $100 million. I don't know about you.
Well, most people don't have the love of accounting that I
Oh,
have.
wow.
But
This is true.
Yeah, most people
This
do
is
not
true.
have
They
that
don't.
love. But
They don't.
generally, if the first time a professor yells at them,
Yeah, I mean, you're kinda
or,
like-
or even mom yells at them,
You know,
they're demotivated to
they like flip the table. Like,
to
fuck this
pursue
shit.
their passion in accounting,
Fuck this
despite
shit. You know, like,
despite their passion for accounting, they could quit.
despite.
Yes, they could quit.
Yes.
Although I found it very useful throughout my life, this accounting knowledge.
I'm sure.
As
I'm
a-
sure. Yes.
you know-
I have not really found my differential equations very useful after my engineering career. No.
No.
Accounting seems much more practical.
But math and most
Sure.
attorneys go to law school to avoid math, as I joke around. So engineers, accountants.
I mean, this is how we end up in this area of
Yeah,
law.
yeah.
We like math. We
We
have
like-
linear ways of thinking, and I believe also I say our minds are very compartmentalized in the way we analyze problems, which is why this area of law is kind of se presta para nosotros.
Yeah, but it is true that if you give youngish people a lot of money at a young
Youngish
age,
people, yes.
a lot of money,
A lot of money.
and they make bad decisions,
They do.
and they attract a certain
They attract
crowd
other people.
that
also don't
some
seem to
of
make
us
good
be
decisions.
losers and sponges. Not me, but other people may say that they undue influence them to before they really develop their own center. So that is.
Oh,
a
I like
concern.
that. They develop their own center. Oh, okay, cute. How philosophical.
Yeah, they.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, people are not the same. And also
No.
at a young age, I used to represent a lot of athletes, and people forget they're like people in their 20s with a lot of money,
Yeah.
and it's got to last a lifetime. So what may seem like a lot of money today, like a lottery winner, on average throughout their lives.
Yep.
So I'm all for love, but bad marriages, loser friends.
Bad marriages and loser friends
You're
does
declaring
not make
bankruptcy.
for a good retirement.
Yeah, like Allen Iverson, one of the greats, declared bankruptcy,
Sure.
and he had superstar.
I had his
career.
shoes. I had bought his
Oh.
sneakers in high
Allen
school.
Iverson, yeah.
Yes, Iverson. I know nothing about basketball, but they were really nice looking sneakers.
Yeah, superstar.
And I went to school one day, and everybody else was telling me they were Iverson sneakers. I was like, okay, great.
Yeah, and sometimes they could be, the.
And those things
they're
need to be
supporting a
thought
lot
out.
of people. That it's the same thing like lottery winners. It's not always because you're stupid. You're just giving away your money, like Elvis did, anchoring back to
Sure.
Elvis.
But, I mean,
So then-
Cadillacs for everybody.
Yeah, maybe his daughter wanted the Cadillacs back, but now they're old Cadillacs. They're not worth that much.
You're not getting them back.
Although today, who would have known? They would be classics.
The
today.
Elvis Cadillacs.
Would be a classic today.
This is go listen to the Robin Williams
Yeah.
episode about
And,
memorabilia. The
and-
Elvis Cadillacs.
So budgeting, once again, the accounting. But if you gotta, I'd like to think that if I didn't have all that money when I was young, I would still go on the same path, but maybe not.
Interestingly, when I started my career, you could tell me if this is kind of the same mindset for you. I used to be much more, when I would do design meetings with clients, and I would say, hey, my opinion doesn't matter. Because, clients always want to know what you think. And I used to go, no, my opinion doesn't matter, right? Like when they go, well, what ages should no, I don't know you, I don't know your family, I don't know, I hope to, over the course of a lifetime and all of the meetings we have with clients initially, and as we keep up with their life, I'll get to know you better. But it's really a matter of a value judgment initially, right? When your kid is 5, you don't know when they're going to be responsible or not. But I'll tell you, Martinez, I would say I stopped that bullshit about 5 years ago. About 5 years ago, if I hear somebody say, my kid's going to inherit whatever it is, $10 million at 25, I go, oh no, abort that. We're not doing that, and I become very opinionated all of a sudden. And I try to tell my clients, honestly, we're going to do whatever you want. But as someone now that has seen a lot of bullshit for 15 years, this is bad news. This is a bad fucking idea. And it is very important to understand the dynamic between the trustee and the kids, right? You need to understand all of that before you advise your clients as to certain things. I feel like initially I was very like, well, it's only what you think and what you think matters. And I'm like, oh, no, you don't want your fucking money blown on dumb shit. For the wrong reasons, too.
As you know, I live downtown. And
you do?
And I perceive what they look like 12-year-olds driving Lamborghinis.
Well, there are.
And I'm like, what have I done wrong? I'm just kidding. But
your mommy and daddy didn't
I
leave
don't
you.
know.
They're
going to the gym at midday, and they're living a life that's totally different than
the life you lived.
Jealous, I suppose.
Yes.
And so they have their Lamborghini money, and I've had people.
They do.
And I've had people, I guess I'm shocked and appalled, just my ethical standards, where they say, I want my Ferrari money now.
Yes. How
before
dare you
mom
make
and dad
me wait?
die.
Oh, wow.
They say, I'm only 50 years old. I need to enjoy life now. And
the nerve.
But you question, even at 50-year-olds,
they still don't have their shit together.
Yeah, the same people that need 200,000 to survive for a few more years. It's very sad.
Pobrecito. How will they go to Komodo? 3 times a week, Martinez and La Mer and whatever.
I saw them last night. They were out there, and what? But it is very relevant. I agree with you that
needs to be thought through. If you have significant amounts of money. Don't leave it to your kid at 25. This is not a good idea. Put a little more thought into this. A few more conversations with your estate planning lawyer, for God's sakes.
Yeah, let's say anchoring back to Lisa Marie at 9 years old.
Yes.
Right? And that's what most people think of, other than tax.
And even if we didn't want to tell Lisa Marie that she's going to inherit, whatever millions of dollars, all she had to do was Google. I guess there wasn't too much Google back in the day. But,
Pre-Google.
Pre-Google. Maybe she could go walk down to the courthouse and, pull the probate
library.
file. Pull the probate file. And be like, oh, shit, I'm going to inherit a lot of money. But her mom did a great job getting her involved in these meetings with the board. Sorry, Priscilla, it doesn't seem to have, done a big difference. And we're gonna talk about this in the next podcast episode. She seemed to have maybe inherited a little more of her dad's mindset around money, not so much Priscilla's, but allegedly. But I digress. I do think the whole leave everything to someone at 25, whether it was going to be $5 million or $100 million, maybe should be thought through a little more.
Yeah, it does. I agree. It does change the plan of folks where and they may be the best children on earth, and they probably are, but then but
they could have really shitty friends.
Yes,
they could pair up with Colonel Parkers of the world, and
people that want to have bad investments, and family members want loans, and so it's very hard to, at a young age, to do that, and also to to limit yourself, within certain groups, where particularly back to the athlete. I've dealt with some superstars, and they have an entourage of 40 people. I don't hate to judge. I'm calculating 40,000 each.
You're buying Uber Eats for everybody every day.
Oh no, right? they're getting at least Flemings. They can't go to Burger King. Mind you, they're going to Burger King the day before.
No Chipotle for your entourage.
Yeah. Now they're going to Bad Bunny's restaurant. Before they're at Burger King.
Hey, Bad Bunny did a restaurant.
Yeah.
In Miami.
Yeah. What's the name? Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
You're asking me?
Yes. Very good. And
but you said very good.
Very good. Yeah. Well, and now they're going to Sexy Fish or whatever. And the Komodo
and Sexy Fish is that Bad Bunny's or is that another restaurant? There's a restaurant called El Sexy Fish.
Yeah.
Como a car wash. What is
well, it's not El, it's Sexy Fish.
Oh, it's just Sexy Fish. Oh, wow.
I Latinized it apparently.
They better give me El Pargo Frito and some very provocative, I don't know, presentation to be Sexy Fish.
Oh, it is.
He says it is. It is.
It is a very good restaurant, and
So I would say certainly we went over a few lessons in this estate, but you know what, whether we're talking about this shouldn't have just been a will, whether we're talking about your choice of trustee was trash, Elvis, I don't know what you were thinking, or whatever it is, right? It's kind of what I always go back to, where I'm always trying to explain to people that real planning needs to be done. This is not a one-time I go get a will or a trust. Even if you go to a great lawyer, this is not a set it and forget it. This is not the fucking rotisserie machine, guys, especially if you have a certain level of wealth or a complicated family dynamic. You need to really think through, and things change throughout your life, but think through the practical realities of how this estate's going to play out to the best that you can. And certainly, you know, someone like Martinez over here with 35 years of experience, because he's a prodigy, has seen a lot, and you have a lot to be able to advise people on that this may not be the best way to go about this.
Well, myself and now you know, we have our war stories, our experience.
Somehow, yes.
And we distill it into, like, oh, God,
tidbits,
no.
Fortune
oh, God,
cookie
no.
tidbits, like,
and,
oh, God, no.
They don't always
right.
listen, but also it's the human experience that we're amateur psychologists also, like,
we're forced to be.
You know, 3 people, 3 sisters, same household. There wasn't like one was in Bermuda and the one was in Miami or whatever. Different personalities. One is an engineering type, analytical.
Usually the oldest.
You know, another one is like the teacher, the caring, wants to take care of children. The third one is just angry. We don't know why.
There's always one.
There's always the angry one.
I don't understand. I didn't get a pony.
We don't know why. Same house.
They got the hand-me-down pony, Martinez. They're still
I don't
mad.
perceive it. Same household.
They're still mad.
And they're
about
angry.
It.
They're very angry.
They're very angry.
They're very angry.
I think you're biased because you don't have any siblings. You don't understand.
I don't understand.
You don't understand that love.
Also, different needs. One is very needy, not my needs, but their needs. One is like, I don't care. I'll live. The one needs their Ferrari money.
One needs, yes.
The big spender money.
Rolls
the
Royce
flashy
money.
Rolls Royce. He needs
Royce
Bentley money. And and the third one is like the CD.
You're holding them back. They're not living their best life because you're holding all their money. They're very upset. They're very upset.
And they're very, not right or wrong, but as an accountant, attorney, and you want to budget them so that
the budget is like a bad word.
Yeah, you want to budget.
People don't like budgets. How dare you? How dare you try to put me on a budget? It was my daddy's money.
And they're also, that's a good point, that let's say when Elvis was alive, I'm sure he would have given, and she was a 9-year-old, you know, so she wasn't.
Oh, I'm sure she got like a fucking bedazzled Cadillac at 9 years of age.
She would have gotten everything and anything she wanted.
And now Priscilla's trying to put her on a budget.
It was just no.
No.
Bad mommy.
Where's Colonel Parker? He was giving me what I wanted.
Remember, plus he was a divorced dad. You know, she got everything. You know, so then.
I've never been married, Martinez. I don't know.
All these things, parents don't know. You know, the first hour, maybe 2, or they're all equal. I love them all, but they know. They do know.
And when you drill down into those family dynamics, it comes out. These facts come out for sure.
And they know one, and unfortunately, not all. I don't. We only deal with problem children a lot, but that you don't hear much about the engineer. You hear about the gambler, the addicted, the mental issue, whatever it may be, which trusts are great for.
They really are.
So then their main concern is they'll blow through all the money in a few years. And but then you have what basically is a children's trust, which is the most basic one, which is you can't give $1 million to a child.
No.
So you need
certainly not at 18, for God's sakes.
And then 25 and. Now I was I don't know about brilliant, a nerdy type. I like to study. I studied accounting. My dad said that was like the rock star way to go. But
that's what he told you. This is the equivalent of rock star status.
Yeah, it's rock star.
Yes. Balance sheets and P&Ls.
I wanted to play the drums and be a rock star. No,
none of that. No,
don't do that.
Don't do that.
Squash my little. But he was practical. He says you can always have a job if you're an accountant. Rock star, not so much. I could have been Nirvana or something.
No documentaries are made about the accountant. Yeah. So I would say that the main, we could have many other sub-mistakes here or breakdown of mistakes, but I would say a lack of real planning, real comprehensive, well thought through, practical planning of any sort did not happen in this estate. And that is the main lesson for today. I think we are out of time. Do you have any final words, Martinez? I mean, whether you're a movie star or not, you gotta plan your estate and protect yourself and protect your family. So I think.
Yes, I never learned the drums or became a rock star, but if I did, I'd hire a good attorney.
Yes, good job. Good job. So all of you out there in podcast world, remember to find us on YouTube, follow us on the Facebook, the Tickety Talk, the Instagram, the wherever you listen to these podcasts. And we will see you next time on Fun with Death and Taxes.